I walk into the reunion with my camera slung over my shoulder, excitement buzzing under my skin. I've always loved capturing family moments, even if this family rarely feels like one. The backyard hums with loud laughter, clinking glasses, and the smoky scent of barbecue drifting through the warm air. But my eyes find her immediately. Aunt Margaret, standing alone near the fence, hands clasped, smile small and uncertain. She looks like she's trying not to take up space. Before I can reach her, Lydia's voice slices through the noise. "Everyone, family photo!" She waves her manicured hand like she's conducting an orchestra. People rush in, forming clusters, fixing hair, adjusting shirts. I guide Margaret gently toward the group, but the second she steps in, Lydia shifts. She nudges people over with a bright, fake smile. Closer, closer, no gaps. Inch by inch, they push Margaret out of frame. The shutter clicks. My stomach drops. She's gone, not even by accident, cleanly, deliberately excluded. A ripple of laughter breaks out. Honestly, who even invited her? Someone chuckles behind me. The cruelty isn't loud, but it's sharp. Sharp enough to make Margaret's smile tremble. Her eyes flicker with something fragile and familiar, the kind of pain you learn to hide because no one ever cared enough to ask. It didn't tight. "She doesn't belong here anymore," a voice whispers. It's meant to be quiet, but I hear every syllable. My hands tighten around the camera. I feel useless, furious, sick. Within seconds, the photo hits the family group chat. My phone buzzes with notification after notification. The picture is plastered there, captioned with jokes, laughing emojis, little stabs disguised as humor. And everyone sees it. Everyone knows exactly what they did. Margaret steps back. "Excuse me," she murmurs, voice steady but thin. She disappears into the house before the tears can surface. I go after her, pushing through the hallway and into the quiet of the guest room. It smells like lavender sachets and old books, the things she carries wherever she goes, the pieces of comfort she's never asked anyone to understand. She sits on the edge of the bed, staring at her hands. When she finally speaks, her voice is soft, almost eerie in how controlled it is. They'll regret this someday. That quiet certainty hits harder than any outburst could have. I sit beside her, my throat tight, my fists clenched so hard my nails dig into my palms. I don't say a word out loud, but in my head, the promise is iron. I won't let them get away with this. The humiliation, hers, mine, settles in my chest, burning slow, steady, and unrelenting. And I know this moment will never leave me. It's the spark, the beginning. The fire has started. I sink into the worn edges of Margaret's favorite chair, the fabric frayed from years of use, the cushion molded to the shape of someone who has carried more than her share of burdens. The room is quiet, except for the faint hum of the air conditioner and the distant clink of dishes from the kitchen. I watch her hands fold neatly in her lap, fingers precise and calm, and I know she's preparing to speak, carefully, deliberately, like everything in her life. She starts quietly, almost as if testing the air. "I've always been overlooked," she says. Her eyes drift to the window, to the small garden she tends so meticulously. At every gathering, I was the odd one out. Nobody asked if I was comfortable. Nobody asked if I even wanted to be part of it. Her voice is soft, but the edges are sharp, cutting through the nostalgia of the room. I listen as she recounts the sacrifices she made, her own dreams quietly folded into the ambitions of siblings and cousins, their successes celebrated as if they belonged solely to them. She tells stories of relatives who twisted inheritances, manipulated opportunities, and left her to watch from the sidelines, powerless but always patient. Her words are calm, but I can feel the weight of every moment she endured. She shifts slightly, eyes distant. "I grew up in a little house," she says, "one I repaired with my own hands, brick by brick, coat by coat of paint. Every corner. I left a piece of myself there." Her fingers trace the armrest of the chair, and I imagine her young self, steadying walls and doors with hands that should have been holding paintbrushes for dreams, not labor for survival. Her father died when she was still young, leaving her responsible not only for herself, but for younger cousins. She shielded them from financial ruin, navigating the harshness of life with the quiet courage of someone who learned early that power can be taken, but can also be built silently. I notice how calm she is now, how her gentle demeanor conceals years of calculated patience and hidden strength. I glance around the room. Ledgers, neatly stacked, sit beside folders of legal documents and a personal journal, each meticulously maintained. Every page tells a story of observation, strategy, and a mind constantly mapping the invisible threads of control and consequence. Then she speaks of a moment that cuts through the silence, a memory of acute recognition, the instant she realized her family never truly valued her. Her lips tremble slightly, voice breaking as she recalls the milestone photograph years ago, another instance of being erased, overlooked, replaced by someone deemed more worthy. The memory hangs heavy between us, sharp and undeniable. I feel it, the pattern. The current humiliation at the reunion isn't new. It's a repetition of years of invisibility, a history of subtle betrayals carefully masked as social oversight. And yet, in her eyes, I see something else now, a glint of restrained fury, of strategic calculation, a mind quietly assembling its plan for restitution. She leans forward, voice firm, steady. Power, she says, is rarely loud. It lives in patience, in subtlety, in knowing when to act. Her gaze pierces mine, teaching me that justice doesn't always roar. It waits, invisible, and then it strikes. The room is heavy with emotion. Sadness, yes, for all she endured. Admiration, yes, for the strength she's carried silently. And anticipation, for the reckoning that is coming, for the moment when the invisible hand of patience transforms into undeniable authority. I sit in silence, absorbing every lesson, every quiet wound, every hint of the storm she is preparing to unleash. Weeks pass, and the family's arrogance grows like weeds in an overwatered garden. I watch as they flaunt their wealth openly, sleek cars gleaming in the driveway, invitations to exclusive events, social media posts dripping with status. Every display of dominance feels like salt on a fresh wound. Yet Margaret moves through it all like a shadow, quiet, collected, gathering old deeds, legal documents, and notes with a meticulous patience that belies the storm simmering beneath her calm exterior. I notice the snide messages in the group chats, the cousins flaunting new connections and laughing at her apparent irrelevance. The cruelty is subtle but constant, like a slow drip that erodes dignity. And yet, Margaret doesn't react outwardly. She bends over papers, sorts files, her hands steady, her mind calculating. I see the garden she tends, now trampled, flowers crushed under careless feet. Letters meant for her vanish into thin air. Every act of sabotage sharpens the tension in my chest. The family hosts another gathering, laughter and wine filling the air. They boast about what's officially theirs, unaware of the quiet observer in their midst. Margaret is there, every meeting attended, unseen, yet acutely aware. She listens, absorbs, remembers. In a hushed private conversation, she shares details with me, revealing just how badly they've underestimated her knowledge of finances and law. The realization hits me like ice. This is no ordinary aunt. This is someone who has quietly mastered the weapons of power while everyone else flaunted theirs. Her tone begins to shift, subtle but unmistakable, calm, measured, yet carrying a dangerous undercurrent that promises consequence. I watch her draft emails, meet with lawyers, and secure signatures, all without confrontation, all without fanfare. Every small maneuver feels like placing the pieces of a trap that will snap with precision. Friends outside the family notice the tension too. "Are you worried for her?" they ask, their voices tinged with unease. I can only shake my head. Worry is misplaced. Margaret is building something far greater than revenge. She's assembling justice. Small victories begin to appear, bills corrected, accounts reconciled, errors in the cousins' claims exposed. Each correction, each legal tweak sends a pulse of satisfaction through her. I can feel it in the air, anticipation thick, almost tangible. Every insult, every mocked comment, every dismissive glance fuels her resolve. Her smile is quiet, subtle, not for them, but for the reckoning she knows is coming. And yet, the family continues their oblivious celebration, unaware that their petty victories are meaningless. They boast and toast while Margaret's quiet, calculated maneuvers shift the real balance of power. I watch, tense and enthralled, as the storm brews silently, preparing to break. My phone buzzes late in the evening. A single text from Margaret lights up the screen. "They think this is a game. Watch closely." The words send a shiver through me, calm, measured, and unmistakably deliberate. Moments later, she calls. Her voice is steady, almost eerily composed. "I've secured legal control over several key properties," she says, as if announcing the weather. I grip the edge of my desk, disbelief and exhilaration crashing together inside me. All this time, she wasn't just enduring the humiliation, she was planning around it. I drive to her house, heart thudding, and step into her study, a room filled with the rich scent of leather, old paper, and years of quiet strategy. Documents lie neatly arranged across the desk, each page a testament to the patience she has weaponized. She walks me through them, pointing out loopholes she uncovered, financial errors the family proudly overlooked, and clauses she can now enforce with precision. "They'll never see it coming," she murmurs, her eyes sharp with certainty. My pulse quickens. For the first time, I see her not as the quiet aunt in the corner, but as a strategist who mastered the rules while everyone else played carelessly. She teaches me how to stay silent during confrontations, how to breathe through anger, how to let arrogance expose itself without interference. Strategic silence, she says, is louder than shouting. Later that day, a close family friend stops by, whispering about suspicious behavior from the cousins. Documents moved, accounts questioned, odd withdrawals. He doesn't know Margaret already mapped every detail. She listens without interrupting, her expression unreadable, her mind 10 steps ahead. I watch her amend the property papers with precise strokes, transferring control into her name. She signs quietly, the pen gliding with a confidence she never shows publicly. No witnesses, no fanfare, just the quiet sound of justice shifting hands. She leans back, eyes fixed on the documents. "Humiliation is temporary," she says softly. "Power is permanent if you know when to use it." The truth hits me like a revelation. Revenge doesn't need noise. It doesn't need spectacle. It can be surgical, precise, clean, and unforgettable. As I study her, admiration floods through me, mixing with a fierce anticipation. I want to see the moment this family finally understands who they've underestimated. Margaret gives a faint, controlled smile, the kind that signals the end of a long, silent war. "Tomorrow," she whispers, "they'll see who's really untouchable." We pull up to the family estate, Margaret's hand resting lightly on the stack of documents she carries. The air feels heavy, charged, as if it knows what's about to happen. I step beside her, heart hammering, every step echoing through the driveway. The cousins are lounging near the pool, laughter spilling into the afternoon sun, oblivious to the storm approaching. Their laughter falters as we enter. "Oh, look who decided to show up," Lydia sneers, a fake smirk plastered across her face. They have no idea what we carry. Margaret's expression doesn't waver, calm, measured like a predator surveying prey. She clears her throat. "I'd like to announce some legal changes." Her voice cuts through the murmurs, precise and unwavering. "Ownership has been transferred, all accounts corrected, debts revealed." The words hang in the air. Silence falls, interrupted only by sharp gasps. Their confidence evaporates in an instant. Lydia tries to laugh it off. This can... Her voice falters, stuttering as the lawyer hands over undeniable evidence. Margaret takes a step forward, explaining each subtle financial correction, each overlooked error, her voice steady, commanding. Every word lands like a hammer strike. I watch their faces shift. Shock crystallizes into desperation. Desperation melts into bitter acknowledgement. Small humiliations emerge in real time. Mistakes they thought hidden, now exposed, every flaw amplified in the room's quiet intensity. Margaret listens calmly as they fumble, refusing their pleas with dignity, detailing decades of sacrifices, quiet endurance that went unnoticed, mocked, and erased. I move discreetly, camera in hand, capturing every reaction. Shocked faces, faltering apologies, whispered regrets. The room is heavy with tension. Power is no longer implied. It is undeniable. Margaret stands unshaken. The family trembles, their arrogance replaced by disbelief. Private conversations among the cousins are audible, low murmurs of shame and incomprehension. How did she? We never saw this coming. Every whisper confirms the shift that has silently taken place. Margaret turns to me, eyes calm and unwavering. This isn't about cruelty, she says softly. It's about acknowledgement. Her words resonate like a final verdict. The confrontation concludes without theatrics, without shouting. Truth is sufficient. The family is forced to accept her authority. Margaret remains poised, victorious, while the echoes of humiliation and realization settle heavily around them. Every glance, every faltered word confirms it. The reckoning has arrived. I walk beside Margaret through her restored home, sunlight streaming through wide windows and illuminating every corner she fought to reclaim. Each polished surface, every carefully placed detail tells the story of her patience, her endurance, her quiet triumph. The property papers lie locked in a safe, a tangible testament to the permanence of her influence. No one can erase what she has claimed with such precision and foresight. She talks softly as we move from room to room, recounting small victories no one outside these walls will ever fully see. Charitable deeds quietly made, subtle donations that shift power without spectacle, acts of influence wielded with discretion and intelligence. I notice the silence in the family group chats. The cousins retreat into introspection, their arrogant chatter replaced by hesitant apologies and awkward attempts at reconciliation. The balance has shifted, quietly but irrevocably. In the garden, Margaret kneels to plant new flowers, the bright colors a metaphor for resilience and growth. I watch her, noting the pride in her posture, the gentle curve of a smile no one else can diminish. Her triumph is understated but undeniable, and friends who hear of her actions speak with awe at her methodical, patient strategy. I reflect on the lessons etched into every moment: patience over impulse, intelligence over brute force, subtlety over spectacle. Margaret teaches me quietly that revenge is most satisfying when it is invisible until revealed, when the moment of truth lands with precision and inevitability. The humiliation that sparked this journey has transformed into something larger: respect, authority, and legacy. Small acts of daily empowerment become rituals: reading, organizing, mentoring younger family members, each a quiet declaration of control and self-worth. At family events, the atmosphere shifts subtly. Her presence commands acknowledgement without confrontation. I feel a deep, cinematic sense of closure as Margaret's life aligns with her silent strength. The story of overlooked resilience, of patience turned into justice, becomes a lesson I will carry with me forever. Every glance, every interaction now carries the weight of earned authority, and in that quiet, I understand the true power of a life lived deliberately, unseen until the moment the world must notice. I stand on Margaret's sunlit porch, the estate stretching behind us, every corner glowing with the quiet victory she has carved out for herself. I turn to the camera, voice steady but charged with emotion. This This is the story of pain, of humiliation, of years spent enduring in silence, I begin, of being overlooked, erased, and dismissed. But it's also the story of patience, intelligence, and the quiet path to justice. The camera pans slowly over the documents she secured, the vibrant flowers in her garden, and the small personal victories scattered through her home. Each frame reinforces the narrative, proof that triumph is built with precision, not noise. Revenge isn't just about retaliation, I continue. It's about acknowledgement, about claiming the value that was ignored for far too long. When more clips flash before the viewer's eyes, family photos where she was once absent, property papers now bearing her name, and Margaret herself, serene, resolute, untouchable. I reflect on the hidden strength of those who are overlooked, underestimated, the quiet fighters whose patience is their power. Look closely, I say, voice softening, and recognize the endurance within yourself and in those around you. Sometimes the people who seem invisible are the ones reshaping the world. I pause, letting the weight of the story sink in. Sometimes, I finish, looking directly at the camera, those who are erased from the frame are the ones who redraw the whole picture. The lens captures Margaret's smile, sunlight casting warm shadows across her face, a cinematic testament to triumph. The scene fades slowly, the audio of a turning page lingering, marking the start of new chapters, of justice quietly won, of victories finally deserved.